Hello, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking about reciprocity.com. The E is spelled with a 3. It is a new sharing economy proofreading software platform that I'm trying to build. I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. And in this particular video, I really wanted to talk about the really hard things about creating something new. And it's really just about the sort of emotional things that you feel along the way when you create something new. And this is really, there's a lot of this. I'm just going to be really honest with how I feel, and these are kind of a lot of the feelings that I do feel. But I do know there's sort of research literature on entrepreneurship, and it's sort of kind of broadly in this area of innovation and entrepreneurship. And when I'm talking about creating something new, I'm talking about something that is distinct enough that people truly recognize it as being something novel, that it is. So if you have sort of a core cusp of information, core cusp of the way that the current world is, and you're creating something new, as you're branching away from that, you're adding some sort of knowledge or particular element to what the current world is. When it's distinct, when it's enough of a difference, then that's what I'm calling something that's new and novel. And I'm kind of basing this on my idea of creating reciprocity or reciprocity.com, with the idea of creating some sort of platform where you can go and get proofreading done, but at the same time, researchers in the background can use this to understand human behavior or behavior in some sort of way. And it was just, this week I've been feeling kind of not so good about, a number of different factors. And I just thought I'd talk about these sort of down moments and feeling in this sort of way, because I think it's important for people to see that, it does go up and down, and you do feel a lot. And this is truly normal if you're an academic, if you're an innovator, if you're creating, a blog, for instance, if you're doing anything, you do have these moments, right? That it's just part of it, right? Anytime you're creating something, it's just part of that feeling. So the first thing is just truly uncertainty. And the literature on entrepreneurship for sure has gone back for almost 100 years now, talking about the role of the entrepreneurs to bear uncertainty. It's not to bear risk, meaning that you don't know what to do a lot of times, right? And you have to sort of learn what to do and what works and what doesn't. And it often takes a lot of time, and you just haven't got a clue. Even if you do have a lot of experience in something, I'm a professor, I study this stuff all the time, and I should know what works and doesn't work, but we often don't know what works and doesn't work, because you have to see what the market suggests. That's why it's really important to do sort of testing and minimal viable products, or just doing things like that and seeing what the audience likes and what the other people like. You just don't know until you do it, and you're really uncertain about what they're gonna like in a lot of different ways. The second thing, and it really does hit you, right? Because and that's part of where the sort of emotional journey comes from. The second thing, and it's related to that, is you just have a lot of self-doubt. Whether you're doing the right thing, whether you're going in the right direction, what you're doing, it actually makes sense. It really is a tough thing to sort of figure this stuff out. You do experience all these different emotions related to self-doubt. I feel that every single day. And this is really coming, this whole tenure process for me, I'm a professor, is coming up it's coming up soon. And, I'm sort of questioning pursuing something like this, or doing other things that are related to it, simply because it's gonna likely, maybe, I don't know if it's gonna impact tenure at all or anything, but it is a tricky thing to think about, and it's really, you really are full of a lot of self-doubt along the way. The third thing that you do feel, and this is not unusual, people have known this for a long time, is you feel rather alone a lot of times, and you feel kind of isolated because you're creating this new thing. Even if you're in a team, which often teams don't work as well as they should, but even if you're in a team, you do feel, particularly if it's your idea and you're pushing it forward, you do feel a lot of just feeling alone because you're kind of leading the process. Is any sort of leadership role or anything that's different, you do feel alone, and that's kind of normal, I think. At least from my experience, I've done a few related things like this, and you always kind of do feel alone. And the fourth thing, it's kind of related to these things, is you just don't know what to do a lot of times. And even if you sort of pursue a particular thing and you try it, you don't know if that was actually the right action to pursue, and you don't really know if it was the sort of most optimal thing to choose, because there always is something, there's always another better alternative, right? So that's opportunity cost. There's always something else that could be related and could be better than what you're currently doing, right? And you just don't know what is the best thing. And related to that is sort of the fifth thing that is really related to all those different factors, is you do feel rather unmotivated a lot, but you still have to get up and do that thing, right? You do feel unmotivated all the time in terms of pursuing something, because you don't know what you're doing. You're afraid of what other people are going to say. You just got to keep going and pursuing that particular thing. And that's really, whenever you create something new and novel, you really do have to, you're going to experience all those emotions all the time. I tell my graduate students, PhD students, you do experience this. It's actually is a really difficult journey. If you're going through graduate school, for example, you go through all of these emotions, and at different stages it gets way worse, and you go through you do get basically really depressed, and you go through that for months. But you know what? The people that are successful, the people that continue on to sort of move things forward, is that they are moving things forward. They get out there and they have all these emotions. You still just got to do it, and you got to deal with it, and you got to keep going, right? So I'm not kind of saying that this is kind of like a suck it up buttercup sort of thing, but at the same time, you just have to keep pushing through these particularly down moments, and that's what I'm trying to do here. This week was kind of like it wasn't the best week for different things and different reasons, but you still have to keep going, get up and pursue. That's why I'm putting out this video, because I know that people are watching them, and I know that people count on them, and you do feel sort of emotional a lot of time. And it is a scary thing to go through all of this. But I still have to put this out. I want to make sure that you are liking it, and sort of finding it sort of useful when you go through your own experiences like this. Is totally normal, and you could sort of use this as a moment of like, oh, well, if that guy is going through it, I've got tons of schooling in this area and all that kind of stuff. Did several things like that, but you still go through all of these emotions. It's totally what happens, and you just got to get up and keep going. And if you're going through your own journeys and stuff like that, you can leave some comments on how you go through this, and it's kind of the way that you do it, right? And I'm not lamenting in any sort of way, but it does go up and down. You can see some of the videos. You watch a lot of the videos, actually, you can see that there's a lot of days where I feel up, but then there's a lot of days where it's just like, why am I actually doing this? And you do get those responses, because at this moment, not a lot of people are actually sort of paying attention to a lot of to the videos, and that's fine. But I'll keep going and keep trying to build this, because I know it's a useful tool, and hopefully someday it'll actually be sort of useful to a lot of people. So I'm happy to do that, and that's all I have to say today. I just wanted to sort of point that out. Have a good day. Like this video if you want to sort of understand and learn more about this kind of stuff, and as well, I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.